Hey.
Hey,
So
everybody.
fast this time.
Hey, everybody. Sometimes it just catches us off guard. So it is what it is.
Welcome,
So
everybody, to Black Coffee, Honey, and Grits. Tonight, we're going to be talking about aging gracefully. Is that a thing? And I am just going to introduce myself and we'll go around and introduce. I'm Dr. Jamesia, the nurse practitioner extraordinaire. I'm also your intermittent fasting and mindset coach, YouTube influencer, speaker, author, all the things. And 1/3 of Black Coffee, Honey, and Grits. Carmel, she froze.
Oh my gosh, so early on. All right. Well, while we wait for Carmel to come back. Hey, everybody. My name is Maisha, and I am the Essential Energy Alchemist. And we're just hopefully, I was like looking to see if she was going to come back on. But I work with Black women, helping them to get into their power and purpose through pleasure so that they can make more money and experience more love. Oh, and there she is back just in time.
I,
Just in time to
prom-
introduce herself.
I promise I'm going to get a new computer. I promise. She's just not having it. Hi, I'm Coach Carmel. I am your whole food, plant-based, vegan fitness coach. Yes, I work with folks who have come to realize that they are addicted to food and addicted to sugar. And I guide them on a whole food, plant-based lifestyle so that they could combat that addiction and whatever chronic conditions that come along with it. And I'm here encouraging you all to add more plants to your plate. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. Aging gracefully. Is that a thing? Who's going to start this conversation?
It is a thing. It's a thing. We can all just chime on in. Yes, it's a thing. And I think because you guys might have missed us, we needed to take just a small break because we need to make sure that we're taking care of our mental health and our rest and getting ourselves together and making sure we stay healthy and we stay in a space to come here and to discuss things that Black women in general, are concerned about. So yeah, I think aging gracefully is a thing. And for me, I think that being a part of this group, being a part of several groups, I feel like
Did she freeze?
Oh, I think she did. Oh my goodness. What is happening tonight?
And I'm like, what does she think?
Okay, she's back.
You froze. You
all of
froze.
us, all of us went like, what in the world? Okay. So I don't know what I was saying, but what I was trying to say was it's just good to be around other women my age or close to my age who are still just embracing their fabulousness, embracing their health, their mental health, and caring about their community and all of those things. So I think that those types and kinds of things help us to age gracefully and embrace aging because it's a blessing.
It is.
It is very much a blessing. Each
Mhm.
birthday I will celebrate more and more, I feel, and just have that gratitude that I've made it to an age as healthy as I can be with the connections and relationships that I've been able to make over the years intact and still striving to do more. I've met people who are like who have kind of given up. This is, I'm kind of like gonna ride this one out quietly. I've heard people say that, and it's so interesting. So I know that this is the age I feel 40s, 50s, 60s, where people really come into self and have a kind of a self awareness about them. What do they want to do with their lives? It's actually really incredible. We spend our younger years trying to figure things out for ourselves, and yet we really don't come into it until the older years where I know I have such a sense of peace with myself that I know, and I'm just stumbling into it, and I know there's so much more to be, so much more contentment to find within myself. Like I'm still growing into it. That part is so exciting to me.
Mhm.
So that part of aging, yes, I feel like there is such a thing as aging gracefully. But I got to tell you, when I saw aging gracefully, is that a thing? I'm thinking wrinkles. I'm thinking
All of that.
saggy skin, all of that, and all of that comes with it, right? And even the kind of like, oh man, "Oh, I didn't look like this like 5 years ago." And I know I'm going through it, and people might be like, Carmel, you look not a day over 30, whatever. I know what I look like last year and 2 years ago, but all of that comes into it. But there's still a sense of satisfaction I feel when I look in the mirror. I still love what I see, and whatever I don't, I know how to tweak it
Mm-hmm.
if I care enough about that aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, growing old gracefully, aging, excuse me, aging gracefully, and that's the thing. We don't I met somebody recently that says aging, we can't deny aging, but growing old is a choice, and we're not growing old.
No, not at all. Not at all,
Mm.
because I feel like aging has allowed me to do more and be more of myself as I age. I'm giving myself so much more freedom to do that without judging myself, without
Mhm.
judging others, without putting restrictions on what I wear, how I do my hair, how I do my makeup, however I feel like I want to look for the day. I'm not putting restriction on that. I don't put age on it. I mean, I don't put a number like, oh, no. I just feel like as I age, I'm more of Jamesia. I'm more of the Jamesia that I've seen myself be for years. So,
Mhm. And I think a lot of that is I mean, first of all, wisdom, right? Like you get to a point where you start living enough life and seeing enough things happen over and over again that you say, well, you know what, that doesn't really matter, and that doesn't really matter, and why was I so concerned about that? And I can just kind of let that go. And when we do that, it makes space for us to show up more as who we want to show up as, unapologetically,
mm-hmm.
without being as concerned about uh, being validated or accepted by others, which is so much of what happens when we're young women. And when you're older, it's just that the basket of fucks is really just empty. You know,
Yeah.
the unapologetic feminine said the patterns over time, they start connecting dots.
Okay.
Huh. I like it for
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah,
For
and I don't believe
sure.
in getting old either. Like aging is fine. I love the fact that I'm here to age. I
Mhm.
like that I can age. I wake up every morning like I'm here to mess it up and learn and do something new today. Really, I'm excited for each day. But getting old, no, no, that's not happening over here. Not at all.
Right, right. And that part is that's just the mindset, right? I remember I used to look at my the elders in my family. I'm like, they embrace their age. They're like, oh, I'm old and I do like go get that for me and I can't walk this way and I'm gonna sit here and do what old people do without even saying all that much. But I was just like, can we live a little? Like it felt like the people around me when I was growing up, the elders, it felt like they settled themselves into a corner of some sort, this imaginary corner, and said, I'm gonna ride this out, like I said earlier. But there's a lot to be said for the peace and tranquility that comes with age too. And that's not hearing the voices and not caring what other people are saying and feeling like they have to perform and do things, jump backwards or whatever to do what society or what other people expect of them, especially coming from a family who we're my generation, my cousins and everything, we are children of immigrants. So the elders in my family worked their butts off trying to establish themselves here in the great United States of America, raise children that won't end up in the streets or in jail, in prison, and buy homes, put their children through Catholic school, etc. And then maybe part of the reason, instead of me judging them, I could have like asked them what their stories were, because maybe part of their aging process was, I can finally sit and breathe and just
Hmm.
look around and just I don't have to smell the roses. I can see it from here, right? I don't want to do anything else. And that's another perspective that I'm only kind of like exploring right now as we're speaking about this. So
Mm.
yeah,
You know,
that,
it's interesting. It's interesting that you say that, Carmel, because when I was with my dad, we were talking, and he wishes he understood the same thing, right? So because my grandparents came from the Bahamas, and I think part of what it was is coming from the generation that they came from. There was still a lot of survival. Like you could still just die, right? There wasn't medical care and stuff like that. You know, lifespan was a little shorter, and you were working literally to survive. There wasn't this time to sit around and go, oh, what's your future gonna be like? You know, what would you like to be when you grow up? Alive, right? Was was
I love
was
it.
was the only answer. And so by the time you get to be 60, yeah, you're done. You've been working. My grandmother was still working, from what I understand, like they were still working doing sugar cane, right? Because that was a big crop. So even though slavery was over, they were still doing that. So yeah, by the time she got older and she finished and she retired here, as she would say, she'd be like, "Don't ask me for shit," because it was like, "I'm finished." So give me
Done.
everything. Unapologetic feminine. Carmel's family is from the island of Haiti. And she says, I use the word ripening. She got that one from Sri Namaste, who is amazing. Sri Namaste Moore. Shout out to her and Baba Richard. And never stopped using it. So ripening as we get older. And she said, yes, just getting juicier and juicier.
Like a
Hey,
berry.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you for that.
Because so when I was thinking about the aging, and we may have discussed this, but looking at growing up watching the Golden Girls
Mhm.
with my grandmother, right? And my grandmother was their age, I think. And then watching I was not into Sex in the City. It's just very white for me. I can't do it. I tried to go back and watch it. I'm not I got my black card's a little gray. I just couldn't get into it. But I
I could
did notice that I did notice the difference in how those, like, they're the new iteration of Sex in the City. Like they're in their like mid 50s.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's not the Golden Girls.
No.
Right. Like they are dressing very differently
Very
than
differently.
Sophia and Blanche and
I know Blanche could probably get down with them. She
Blanche.
could be like, look, teach me a little bit about what you got going on. I am here for it. But the rest of them,
Blanche and Samantha were my two favorite characters. If I did watch Sex in the City, it was only for Samantha, but no surprise there. But
yeah.
unapologetic from this, I don't accept that as the answer. Sorry. But yeah, go ahead.
which part doesn't she accept as the answer?
I think me talking about Sex in the City,
Oh.
but she'll explain. I am your Samantha. Thank you. But yes, go on, ladies. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Did you want to add to that? No, Doctor. Did you want to add to that, Dr. J? I'm not quite sure.
No, I'm sorry. No, I
No,
speak out on that. But I was just wanting to read that I put this into Chat GPT, y'all. But it says, yes, aging gracefully is a thing, definitely. And it's something many women embrace by prioritizing their physical, mental, and emotional well-being. While societal pressures often focus on appearance, true aging gracefully goes beyond that. It involves accepting the natural changes that come with aging while taking steps to maintain health, confidence, and purpose.
I like it.
Mm.
'Cause I see a lot of women, and I've one thing that has shifted as I've gotten older is my judgment around some of the things that women choose to do with their body. I still don't like it. It's not for me, but I'm not as ruckus about it as I was when I was in my 20s. If you weren't natural, I was coming for you guns blazing.
Mhm.
And I get that there are women who want to make the changes. I think at this stage, it's a sadness that women still feel the pressure of society
Mm-hmm.
to have to put their
Mhm.
bodies through certain things, because if not, they're not attractive. And
Mm-hmm.
that's I think if the anger isn't at the women, it's like can't you see how amazing you are anyway? Like, why do you have to go do all of these things? You don't need to compete with people who are in their 20s. You've already been there and done that. Like, embrace all of the things that are happening. But
Mm-hmm.
there are still women who it's that you have to mourn the body that you're losing and embrace the one that you're now gaining.
So
I don't
I
know
have
that
something that
I don't know that mourning is. I don't know mourning. Why do you
Well,
say
I'm not mourning it, but there are some women who feel that way.
yeah,
mm,
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, there are some, because it's like my skin is sagging. I've got these wrinkles.
Mhm.
Oh no, I shouldn't have them. All of these things are happening. I've got gray hair. I shouldn't have it. No, this is, and all of this. So they're not accepting of the fact that, yeah, your body does change. Your breasts start to hang a little bit different. Yeah, the cellulite comes in. It's like, what can I buy? What can I get? I will spend $150 on every cream that exists. Let me wipe it all away. And if you want to do it because it's like you just want to do it, that's fine. But I think
Yeah.
more women than not are doing it because the society does not appreciate women who age.
Or
so
approve. Right.
yeah, so I do feel sad for the women who feel like I have to keep up. I want to be that woman, that trophy, whatever. I do feel sad for them if they feel like they have to keep up some type of appearance. Yes. And not feel bad for them, like boohoo, just kind of like a little sand bite for them. Why? Because sometimes I feel like that about myself. I feel like I grew up not liking my body at all, no matter how beautiful I was or not. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
like my body at all, even into my 20s. And so my body, when I looked in the mirror, was not something that I enjoyed to watch. But now that I'm coming to a certain age, I like me so much better. And I like the way I look so much better. But
Mm-hmm.
there's a part of me that wishes that I loved me like that when I was 20, to
Yeah.
enjoy
Yeah.
how perfect my boobs were. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe I can go to the doctor and fix some things up and enjoy my body like the way it was when it was 20. So there were those thoughts in me. I'm like, yeah, I would get a boob job, lifted, whatever. I
And
would.
so
I would go
what
anytime.
if you do though? So what if you do?
Yeah.
You're gonna be
And
real perky at 75 though. But I'm just saying.
I'm okay with that.
Hey, so what if you do?
The unapologetic feminine says the pressure of keeping up with the idolization of youth through the media, which agreed. This society, especially Western media, has a fixation on ages 15 to 30. She
Mm-hmm.
said Hollywood TV advertising really screwed us up. Our ancestors post emancipation wasn't worried. The migration to cities, etc. You have to tell us a little bit more about what you meant about that. But yeah, there is that pressure to. I was coming out of a sex expo in Brooklyn, and they had all these vendors and everything, and talking about sexuality. And as I'm leaving, I'm listening to this young man behind me. Had to be in his 20s or whatever. This is like 2018 or so. And I'm not sure exactly what he's talking about, but he's just talking about, yeah, and her boobs were just sagging. They were so low. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy that he doesn't understand how breasts are supposed to look.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I think a lot of women don't understand how breasts are just how breasts look. And that there's this idea that they do, like, sit up, and they do when you're younger.
Right.
And when you don't breastfeed, yeah, and then over time they just start doing what they do. But I think there's this idea for a lot of people that everything's supposed to like stay. Like, it's not supposed to, like, when you lay down, it's not supposed to fall to the side.
Right.
Or anything like that. And I'm just like, and again, I think I think there's a way that that there are women who are definitely aging gracefully. And then there are the Kardashians.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
I just, you know what I mean? And I think there's a middle ground. Oh, she said our ancestors after slavery weren't thinking about their looks, the migration to urban environments with leisure, culture, nightlife, etc., put pressure on beauty standards.
Yes. Yes.
They
100%.
had they had more they had more time.
They had more time, and now we have more time, and we got more money, and we have more resources, and we like so it's just gonna that trend will keep growing, but hopefully it grows with women gaining a self-awareness about themselves and who they are, and the place and where they are placed in society, and hopefully it comes with women who and appreciate themselves and don't even pressure their peers, right? Because there's peer pressure as well to do a lot of these things to themselves physically to perk things up. um so yeah, it's all of it. We do it to each other sometimes too.
Yeah, and I think at least for me, and I look at my daughters and my sons, and I think, okay, well, what kind of example do I want to be for them when it comes to aging? Because I know that there's a lot of pressure on young people to look a certain way. There was a corny, I mean, it's corny. It wasn't meant for my age. There's a movie on Netflix called Uglies. And in this movie, when you're 12, you're sent to this dormitory. And on your 16th birthday, you go through this machine where you get to look like your avatar. You get to choose your eye color, your hair. And there's this idea that you're ugly until you go through this process at 16. But the process causes lesions in the frontal lobe. So there's a part of you that also forgets who you are
Mhm.
when you go through this process. So you lose a piece of yourself, right? And again, the movie wasn't for people my age, but it was an interesting concept. But I think, how do I want my daughters to approach aging? And if I'm here making all of these changes to myself, and this is for me. If I'm here making all of these changes to myself, what I'm saying to them is, I don't accept my body. And so perhaps you should not either. Because whether I like it or not, that is how our children perceive things. And so I had to ask myself, how do I want my daughters to approach their bodies? And I want them to say, my body's good. And that means I also have to say my body's good. So I have to embrace this aging and age with grace, I guess.
Mhm.
Well, I'm sorry, we've got comments on Instagram. Divine Within, hey, says, I hope we have more women helping young girls love themselves and their bodies from a younger age. That way, there is nothing to mourn when we get older. Just know our bodies will change. Yes, absolutely.
I wanted to speak to that too. I think that I appreciate what you said about your daughters and how you treat your body and all of that. I think too, coming from a standpoint of strength and femininity, that we can do whatever we want to do with our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And if it makes you feel like you are more feminine and more beautiful, then if you want an enhancement, that's your strength and your power for an enhancement. And I don't think it's a bad thing. But I do think we need to also be teaching them that there's pressures from society. And is this because something that you really want and need for you? Not because he
Right.
or she said it or whatever. That's all I wanted to say to that.
So I had an aunt that always said she was always in makeup. She was always like always just very, very beautiful and put together real nicely. And as she got older, I remember her saying, if I had money, I would do this in a second. Like this is something she would have done in a second. And I was just like, oh my God, wow. My mother never talked about things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how much she might have influenced me or if I was very influenced by society. I'm one of those kids that saw something on TV and I needed it, I wanted it, I wanted to be that person. I was that person. Very, very influenced. So I grew up feeling, despite my mother kind of like just My mother dressed very beautiful. My mother loved to look pretty. So my mom never talked about surgery. But here I was just like, at the first chance I get, if I feel like I don't like my face or my boobs or my butt, everything's getting done, right? And so I don't know. So Dr. Jamesia, I loved what you just said. It's for us to understand and know that we have the power to do so if that's what we truly
If
want
that's
to
what we
do,
want.
not necessarily based on somebody else's opinion of us.
Mm-hmm. Now,
Yeah.
look, y'all, my mother was very, my mother was very much like she. First of all, I've always had a booty and I've always had breasts at a young age, and I hated both of them. Hated both of them. I'm telling you, it was the worst. I was so grown in this little. I was young, but I looked grown, and I had too much attention, and I hated it. My mother, on the other hand, loved attention. So her children were always looking a certain way. It was important for her children to look a certain way. And she would put stuff on me that I thought was inappropriate. I was like, I don't want that. I don't want I was just always I was an old soul. But I was like, I don't want my arms out. Somebody gonna see my arm and think it's too sexy. Or, in my mind, right? I know I'm being extra, but in real life, I was like, I don't want my arms out this soon. And I remember crying and fussing with my mother about my arms for Easter. She put me in this outfit and I got tons of compliments, but I did not want to be in that outfit. It was too revealing to me. And I grew out of it eventually, but that was a teachable moment right there that never happened. So
I don't think really, our mothers didn't have, like, you know what I mean? That wasn't even any of that in their thought process. I think we are the first generation to have the mental time and space to start going, maybe I don't like that. Maybe I'll do something different. Maybe I'll raise my kids different. Maybe I won't be this, they didn't really, they, as far as they were concerned, they were either running from something or going, it just wasn't a thought to them to think about, what their kids wanted or needed or desired. Because I know mine didn't either, and put me in stuff, not revealing, but listen, I'll say this. I didn't look grown because I had a body. I looked grown because I was tall. And so here I am on the first day of 7th grade. And I remember the outfit vividly. So I want you to picture it in your mind. I'm 12 years old and I'm walking in and I have on a purple pleated skirt that doesn't go to the knee. It goes to the calf, right? Because we don't do to the knee skirts, right? So it's to the mid calf, almost to the ankle, purple pleated skirt. I've got a purple and white striped button down shirt with the collar. Okay, like a business shirt. I'm 12, and I've got a yellow cardigan sweater on that goes past my butt as well, and then I've got on some white stockings and some loafers. And my mother, and everyone thought I was a teacher.
Yeah,
no one thought I was a student, right? So, and again, I wasn't allowed to wear jeans to school. So this idea of I think our mothers, because we learned so much, and I think some of our reaction to some of the ways that we see ourselves as women as we age is in response to our mothers. And we've talked about some of this, right? Like some of the ways we see ourselves aging is in response in part to the ways our mothers aged or saw themselves as well. And so we still do get to decide, to your point, Dr. Jimmy. So what do I want to do with my body? Because I get to decide now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Just looking for responses.
Yeah.
Hold on. Maurice said, I have a really long response to aging gracefully. Of course you do. But I'll say this in short. Aging gracefully to me means understanding that along with our bodies, our circles change too.
Yeah, very true. Maurice, can we give you the link and you could come and share your long answer with us?
Yeah, we can send you the link.
It would be lovely to
That would
have
be
you
nice.
here.
That would be fun.
It would be fun. But
That's actually a really good and interesting point, because
it really is.
the people that we hang out, certainly I don't hang out. Well, look, y'all know I don't. If y'all don't know, I don't collect people. So with each stage of my life, I'll be with a group, and then one or two may linger after. But for the most part, the whole group is gone. And it's not even that I threw them away. It's just
You move
I
on.
can't if I've grown in a certain way, then you can't be in my space anymore. We just don't click. We don't vibe. So I can't just keep you around. All right, hold on.
Okay, yeah. What?
All right. He
Okay.
said, oh my, sure. All right, give me a second.
Oh, he's coming up.
We'll see. I sent the link.
No, but I like that what Maurice said about the circles change, and it's interesting. It's true, right? Because now, so even if I'm taking a look at my social media pages, I see that most of the people who follow me obviously are in my demographic, right, or in my age group, rather, my age group. And I feel like this conversation is being had about what we still dislike about our bodies, what we come to love about our bodies, and how our bodies are changing. That discussion is being had. And but I don't know if I could even have a discussion like that with somebody who feels like, I hate my body, I'm going to get everything done, because there are those women out there. And because I don't feel like that's the answer, like I can't be around you, because if that is your mentality, then what is it pertaining other things to? Because it doesn't just stay. If this is who you are, it doesn't just stay with the physical appearance and look. Um, so that's an interesting comment and something interesting to think about.
I like what you said there, Carmel. Because yeah, like so. And I'm thinking about. I mean, my circle is it's very small. Either you're in it or you're just an acquaintance, and so it doesn't matter. But the women who I don't have really close people in my circle who ascribe to certain values, or because it would just be too difficult, like you said, to like I wouldn't. I don't think I have any, like, I don't, like, my closest friends. Like, I know one person who's had like the BBL thing. I didn't even know what it meant. I didn't know what it meant. This is like 2021, 20. I didn't know what it meant. Right. And I was like, what is that? And the process of that, there's one person I know, but she's much younger. Much younger. And part of this, and I think this hits the millennial crowd a lot, because they grew up with social media. Right? We didn't grow up with social media. We grew up with Claire Huxtable, right? So we grew up watching women. We grew up with the Golden Girls. We grew up watching women age, and I think for the younger set, it is a little bit more difficult for them, because no one ages because everybody's got on a freaking filter. No one ages because everyone's getting everything done. Right. And so to them, it's like, well, I can't age either. And I think like it's part of my concern, I think, and I'm not so concerned for other people that I'm willing to like yell at folks anymore. I would have at one time, but I'm always like, so what happens when you're 78 though? And you're still here, and the chemicals that are in your body, like what happens to you at 85? And there are some women now who are getting things removed, right? All of that stuff. And so that I just wonder about that. And I wonder about the chemicals,
We're
what I
about
mean?
to find out, because it's our generation. We're about to find out.
We're about to find out.
Yeah. And what that does long term. And I'm just
a lot of cancer.
Yeah. And I'm weighing that this pressure that we feel to look a certain way, and nobody does it better gives us pressure better than we give it to ourselves. I know we like to blame the men, but we will be the first ones.
You mean right? Women on women, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, girl, what you doing? Girl, where you going with it?
We'll be the first ones,
on.
it's like, oh, you looking a little, I
Yeah,
got
we
to have a
do.
doctor for you for that.
Yes, yes.
Sure, you don't want to do something about that there. And and
Mhm.
and are we willing to give up our health and longevity in that way for the vanity, I guess?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And some people are, you know.
And I'm all for the natural stuff. I want to try all the natural stuff. But when it comes to cutting or changing, oh, you can miss me with that. I don't ever want, not even, listen, surgery in general is dangerous.
I
Yeah.
know.
Let's put that out there. When you
Didn't P.
open up,
Diddy's mom pass away from a procedure?
that was Kanye. When
Kanye.
you open up your body to the elements, that's another situation. So I'm like, look, I'm gonna try all the natural rubs, and it may probably don't work. I don't know, but you know, it is what it's gonna be, and that's what it is.
And then go to another country and I'm sorry, listen. It and if
But if
if
you want to do it,
you really feel like you need to put fake stuff in your butt to look like somebody else's fake body or somebody else's real body, because some of y'all are blessed. Hello. I go just save your money and go to the place where don't go to the backwaters. Don't go. I saw a video with somebody giving the ass shots in a truck.
in the
And
back
don't
of
do
the,
that. Yeah, don't go to the Caribbean and get it cheap.
yeah.
Look at this one.
Hello.
What up, y'all?
Hey, Maurice.
Hey, Maurice.
You back together again. I gotta go listen to that. Too.
Yes. I like that. How the heck are you? Amazing. Yay.
Okay.
Somebody
Anyway,
said something. That was all I was
No, I
saying.
was saying
Yes,
I
I
love
told them
this.
earlier today.
I've always had that though. It's just maybe a
Yeah.
little more gray. Maybe I don't know.
I
Yeah, it's just
don't know.
looking more prominent. I don't remember seeing all that, but it
It
looks
looks
good.
more.
Yeah.
Y'all,
Y'all should see his new profile picture on Facebook. Lord have mercy.
y'all ain't seen me for a while. That's
Hold
all.
on. That must be it. That must be it.
Mm.
So tell us your long definition of aging.
Well, you all were talking about competing with societal norms and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And so that says to me that we're trying to compete in a society that really cares about that age group and by that demographic, right? I'm sure every one of y'all listening, whatever, has been, when we were younger, we were at a club and there was an old guy or an old woman at the club. And y'all were like, what is that old dude doing in the club?
Yep.
There comes a time as we age gracefully that our circles should change, that we shouldn't be competing in this societal norm. We should be in the same pool with the sagging breasts and the sagging balls and the sagging everything. That's what our life shifts. And I'm not saying get stagnant and don't do anything, but I'm saying our pool shifts. We just need to swim in that other pool. And if there are people in that pool that speak against who we are at this age, then they need to go back and be that old dude in the club.
Pretty much.
I mean, simple.
Yeah, very simple. I agree with that for
Very
sure.
simple.
Doing the two-step. Yeah, and I think that there is, and I've heard this. I have not experienced it, but I've heard that there is competition between women our age and younger women. There are daughters who feel like their mothers are trying to compete with them, which I don't even understand that concept, right? But apparently this is a thing where moms are trying to compete with the youth.
I get it.
Yes.
And I'm sure if you really think about it, you'll get it too. where maybe there was stuff in their youth that they didn't do, and they're living vicariously through their children.
Mhm.
And you know, it happens.
Mhm.
And I feel like even on social media, we're getting this generation of daughters, moms, and grandmas that all look like sisters, right? And
Yeah.
Mhm.
so, is that by accident? Is that the filter? Is that a nip and tuck? Like how, or maybe it's natural, right? But there is these three generation things that I'm seeing a lot
Mhm.
on social media, and so I can see where the competition with my daughter would come in, and I can see that happening because we look like sisters. So I can snag that guy. The same guy that you can snag, I can get him too. It's sad. It's sad, but it's happening out there. And to Maurice's point, where Maurice said, we're thinking that there's that group of people that want us there. Meanwhile, the marketing industry is selling us things for us to
Be
be
there.
able to fit in, to be there and
Right.
be accepted, so that we're not like, look at that old lady. We're like, hey, grandma, we want to look like you when we get older. So there's that too. And it's just and then there's that cutoff spot, right? When do we actually get considered old, where they just want to cast us off and they don't even want to see us anymore? Why don't you go to an old lady's home, old group home, or whatever, and we just don't want to see you because this is the young society, right? This is So I feel all of it really plays tricks on
Mm.
where we want to be in our age as we age gracefully.
Mm.
Watch. They just started a new Matlock. Now, do y'all
Mhm.
remember the series Matlock?
Mhm. Mhm.
Mhm.
You do, okay.
Mhm.
Um, they
With
just
Kathy Bates, right?
yes, but watch the pilot. Is
Okay.
watch the pilot.
Okay. Where's it
Okay.
airing?
Well, it's on Hulu and Disney, but I
Okay.
think it's ABC. I think it's ABC.
I was gonna say it's not
Okay.
CBS, but
You know what?
I
It might be.
no, yeah, it might be.
It
And
might be.
you know what's interesting when I saw that, what didn't occur to me was Kathy Bates playing Matlock. She's a little old or something like that. First of all, Matlock was he looked like Colonel Sanders to me, so I always thought of him as the Kentucky Fried Chicken dude. But it's Andy Griffith, right? Because that's what
Right.
he
Yes.
looked like to me. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and Matlock.
But
But at first I was like, Matlock was a dude. Like that's the first thing that that came to my mind. Like they made Matlock a woman.
just
But I loved the fact that those roles still exists
Mhm.
for people who are above 60.
Mhm.
two things. Well, they redid The Equalizer with Queen Latifah.
I said the same thing at first and too, and I was like, Maisha, bring it back. It's all right.
But the thing about Matlock, I'm not going to do any spoilers, but just it 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 tracks with what we're talking about tonight. It's
Okay.
really
Mm.
I'm gonna
it's
check it
really
out.
really deep, and there's
Okay.
a couple of really strong black leads on there. One especially. What was she in? Any of you have watched The Rookie? I know Maisha, I thought we'd talk about it,
We
but
did, but I didn't
she's
watch it.
she's one of the attorneys in the show. There's one black woman from there. Um, I swear, and there's a brother, and it's good. Just watch the pilot,
Okay.
Watch the pilot.
and you'll be like, "Wow, that's kind of deep." Yeah.
Huh.
Okay.
Well, I do love seeing that I can tell that something is changing because first of all, you know, Gen X and younger boomers, it feels like a different vibe, and we're not going out so quietly. Like we're not, to Carmel's earlier point, going, oh, we're just gonna sit, we're old, we're done working.
Mhm.
We're, for us, it's like, no, we're just getting started. Like
Yes.
when just
Just
pick
rev it
back up. Right, like we're just doing it. And so I see, like, there are movies like The Book Club, which I saw both one and
Mhm.
two, which I loved seeing, again, these older actresses,
The first
talking
one.
about sex, The First Wives Club, right, and all of these things, talking about this, and seeing older black actresses in these roles. So I think that there is some shifting when it comes to aging gracefully, and I'm glad to see us moving the tide. And I think we're going to see more of us in the forefront showing age and being okay with it,
Mhm.
because we're blessed to still
Yeah.
be here. Right?
Big time.
Eh. All right. Well, this sounds like a good spot to wrap up at, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you
Yes.
for
Yeah.
joining us this evening. All right. So this has been Black Coffee, Honey, and Grits. Y'all, please go ahead and follow us on YouTube and Instagram. We will be back here Friday morning. Maurice, don't just pop off yet. We'll be back here Friday morning at 11 a.m. ish. Just go ahead and follow us. Click the like, subscribe, and the bell button so that you're notified when we go live on YouTube. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah.